Welcome to Gone Rush Movies Explained channel. We appreciate your interest in our content. Before you dive into the exciting world of movie explanations, we kindly request you to subscribe to our channel. A man talks at a conference about his life. He changed his skin and body to become something more. But what has he become? The whole world wants to know who he is. He presents one important box, but before he reveals what's inside, he tells about himself. The man says he left his home and family to learn how to be human. He went out on that ground completely naked and put the water hose in his mouth. The police drove up to the scene, and at the same time, the owner came out with a shotgun. The man just stands there like nothing happened, completely naked and with a hose in his mouth. The policeman tries to get the hose out of him, but it's like he won't run out, and the man is electrocuted. They bring him to the station and ask him questions, but the man is not thinking straight at all and speaks in some numbers and figures and then says a line that the woman heard on the phone receiver. He is acting very strange and learning to talk. The man repeats after people and so becomes one of them. A woman named Justin Falls takes her young daughter Molly home to her father. She has little money and her father is terminally ill, but when she asks her supervisor to double her shifts, he makes her an indecent offer, to which she replies with a punch and leaves. She is invited to the police station, where Faraday sits. He gives the girl's name. When she approaches him, she hears something about her old research. He knows the text of her thesis from somewhere. Faraday says he's on a mission, but what kind of mission is it? The girl asks not to go near her or her family. A man takes someone else's phone from his desk and leaves the station because the woman has given him permission to leave, on the condition that he stay away from Justin Falls. The alien searches the cards for a thrift store, and gold rings come out of his mouth, which he turns in and gets $25,000 for it. He grabs something from the contents of the store and crafts an unusual device, which he walks down the road with. People passing by stop and are shocked by Faraday. He looks up into the sky and sees some creature from his planet. It is dying, and so is his planet. He must save it at all costs. Justin Falls drives by and sees a man being beaten and robbed. She drives by, but still her conscience won't allow her to leave a man to die on the road like that. She turns the car around and pulls up to the crime scene. Justin pulls out a gun and points it at the villains, but they are not afraid of her and attack the girl. Faraday intervenes in the fight, grabs the gun, and almost shoots Justin herself, as he has never held a gun. The criminals run away, and Faraday asks if the girl wants the money the criminals wanted to take. She says all she wants is a thank you from someone, and Faraday says thank you. His machine breaks down. The alien asks the girl to take him to a place through which he is to receive or deliver a message to his planet, but she doesn't understand what he wants at all. Faraday gives her the money the girl so desperately needs, and she agrees. The man asks about her calculations during her research, but she is not at all going to talk about past mistakes, although the man tries to explain to her that the girl was on the verge of an important discovery. Faraday gets out of the car and dips his head into a box of ice with bottles of cool water floating around. The man at the gas station says you can't do that, so he buys the whole crate from him. Faraday walks up to the horse and strokes it, looking it in the eye. The man next to him says that horses are very skittish, and Faraday tells him that on his planet they are predators. The man is surprised and says that they are shot here. Faraday says that horses are not made for that. One day they will remember that they can kill people with just one blow. The alien casually mentions the girl's phone conversation and quotes her father. Justin thinks he's mocking him and asks him to apologize. They go to a bar and have coffee, but Faraday acts too defiant and everyone keeps glaring at his antics. When he calms down, Faraday explains to the girl that she and her research are important to the mission. He mentions a certain scientist and tells her that on his planet people are trained somewhat differently, which is why he knows so much. Justin buys medicine for his father from the dealer, and they run to the car. A little later, a police car starts chasing them. She asks him about his family, but he says only that he hopes for the survival of his species, and that the entire planet has very little left. She brings him to the right place, but she is afraid to stay with him and leaves. The man walks toward the tornado, and the girl realizes that the man will be lost without her and rides the car right after him. She finds herself in a hurricane as her car skids. The man enters some world where he is met by a crazy old man, who says he will make him a new god that humanity cannot ignore. The old man says he knew the guy was coming. He reminds him that words mean different things in this world. This is his adept, Thomas Newton, hiding from the people who are looking for him all over the earth. He convinces the man to release some kind of virus and keeps talking about a mission for which he seems to have spent quite a few years, and then asks him if he has found the girl he asked him to find. Faraday replies that yes, and wakes up on the ground after the storm. Justin sees his shabby face, with scales showing through his skin and his eyes resembling a snake, and, frightened, he leaves the place. The man arrives at the bar and takes the men's beers right off the table, not realizing that this is not the right thing to do. The waitress remembers Justin's words and takes Faraday aside, thinking he is autistic. She agrees to help him look for some item, the name of which he keeps repeating as he holds out a wad of bills to her. Justin arrives home and sees his daughter, kissing her on the forehead and wishing her good night. She herself goes outside and smokes a cigarette while looking at the moon. The waitress comes outside and tells him that the orange he is looking for is a company in Seattle to fly to, and she offers him a cab, but he smells something. Somehow, he guesses that she is pregnant and asks her if she is afraid that her offspring will not live to adulthood as the planet's resources are dwindling. The girl is very frightened by such words and slaps him in the face and runs away. Spencer Clay goes to a restaurant after work and meets Drew Finch, who once helped him get a job. The woman shows him papers about a tornado that happened recently. There used to be one just like it, but 45 years ago. Everyone who knew anything about the case is dead except one man, Gregory. Spencer Clay promises to help the woman. Faraday, meanwhile, heads to the airport in a cab and takes a few minutes to learn the Pakistani the driver speaks. The man teaches him to say he is an immigrant if he doesn't want to say where he came from. Faraday remembers this and goes to the airport. He asks for tickets to Seattle and gives him someone else's ID, but all the screens around him start acting weird, and the alien himself becomes unwell, after which security runs to him and he vomits a huge stream of water straight to the floor. Justin brings her father back, but it turns out that if she doesn't pay the debt this time, her father will no longer be welcome in the nursing home, so the girl runs to work. Her work friend explains to Justin that she needs to relax a little, but how can she relax when her father needs $40 worth of medicine every day, and next month they're going to take her house away from her. The girl says she saw something scary yesterday and was scared, but she can't tell because she's not sure if it was real or if she's lost her mind. Suddenly her phone rings, and she realizes she has to go. It's Faraday. He's called her name again to the police, and that's why she's been invited to the station. He keeps saying he needs to go to Seattle, but how will he get anywhere without papers? The girl takes him with her since there are enough problems at the airport as it is. The man asks her if he's going to leave her. Justin asks if there really was a tornado, and the alien replies that there was and tells her about his adept Thomas Newton, who he met there. Justin says she saw his face and it was as if he wasn't from this planet, but the man reminds her again that he really isn't from this planet and she is shocked once again. The man explains that his civilization is dying and that the Origin Company has blueprints for a machine that is supposed to save his civilization, and he needs Justin because she is the best scientist. The girl freaks out again and leaves the man, who reaches out to her for money. Spencer, meanwhile, drives up to the very survivor. Justin and Faraday arrive at the nursing home, but no sooner does the girl leave to fetch her father than she notices that the alien has already disappeared somewhere. He went to the other old people and started playing their games with them. They were playing improv, but Justin arrives on time just as Faraday starts up his record again about how everyone is about to die and why they are sending the old men to die in some house. Spencer, meanwhile, finds some house in the woods where the doctor is supposed to be, but as soon as he approaches him, the man knocks him out with something heavy and Spencer finds himself tied up in the woods. The man interrogates him about the lenses in his eyes, but Spencer does not wear lenses. The man cuts his body with a knife, trying to figure out who it is and who sent him, but Spencer doesn't have time to say anything before he finds himself beaten and shredded. The man is clearly obsessed with something and is waiting for some people to break in on him. Faraday is brought to a farmhouse, all decorated with Justin's father's handicrafts. He has done so much, but Faraday says his daughter has a much higher intellect than her father. So why does she ignore him so thoroughly? Have domestic problems hidden so much of the same genius in her that once wrote the beautiful work? Faraday begs her to take him to Seattle, but Justin has no intention of doing so. Here, the father himself joins Faraday because he likes him. Spencer convinces the crazy old man to let him go, but it is as if his grandfather does not hear him. Then the man explains to him the purpose of his visit and the old man says that the tornado that occurred is the answer to their question asked 45 years ago and then blasts at Spencer again, saying that he will die. The old man talks nonsense, but then talks about Newton, whom they took away his eyes and turned him into a psychopath. Spencer convinces him that he was only doing his job, but the old man puts a knife to his throat. He's not going to give up and Spencer has to knock him out, but the grandfather stands up and grabs the gun. He pins the man against a wooden beam and explains how crazy Newton is without eyes. The grandfather says the man has no idea what awaits him, but instead of shooting Spencer, he points the barrel at his chin and pulls the trigger. The man stands in shock and stares at his corpse. Faraday stays the night with Justin's family and they manage to pray together before dinner. Faraday doesn't understand what is going on when his father prays. It impresses him. Faraday asks the girl again because he feels she is afraid to take him to Seattle. Faraday doesn't know the ethics and tells Justin's father directly that he would be more useful if he were dead. Justin sends him away, but the father stops his daughter and tells her that the alien is right. The girl puts Faraday in the car, and Molly takes him to Portia, who lives next door. The wind rises in the neighborhood, everything spins around, and Faraday enters Justin's house. The girl herself goes to the car at this time, but sees that Faraday is not there. He enters Justin's father's room and sees that he is asleep. The alien puts his hand on his chest and is illuminated by television flashes. He raises his hand to his throat and clenches his fist. Everything begins to flicker from the electrical failures. Everything around him shakes, and after the flash, Faraday falls to the floor. Has he helped ease the old man's suffering? Justin runs into the room and is shocked. Her father, once in a wheelchair, now walks on two legs and seems to be feeling fine. Faraday saved him. Justin sees the alien and he asks if they can go to Seattle now. Can the poor alien save his civilization? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated and receive more content like this.